Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Protoss Power Hour, where we talk about Protoss strategies. We're going to change up the format of tonight's episode a little bit. I feel like the last two episodes we focused a lot more on the pro scenes than we did the strategy portion. And tonight is going to be all strategy all the time. So, Bright, take it away, man.
Yeah, so I guess like one build that we have prepared, since there hasn't been much in games lately, and we can briefly touch on the fact that Rain still likes Phoenix Zealot, and that's what he used to win his GSL group. But Oz versus Nurchio, Oz has been using a new build lately. Double Stargate into a third base, Phoenix to force the Zerg into Hydras, and then Robo. It's double Robo. Anybody else have words on this?
Yeah, it's a double robo to counter the Phoenix. They're going, of course, Nurchio does the backwards thinking and goes just Phoenix Corruptor, which I guess is a. But then you already have the two Stargates, and Oz just drops the third Stargate, I believe, and then he just powers up from there once he sees that Nurchio isn't backing off from the airplay.
All right, so what the build is, well, let's just talk about what the build is first before we talk about like the reaction. So what he does is he wants to take a 1 gate 3 Nexus, right? So that's his goal, 1 gate 3 Nexus, then into double Stargate. So if he can't defend this Nexus, he'll just go with Stargate anyway and try to take the Nexus later. And he's trying to force Hydralisk, is what he's trying to do. The game versus Nurchio that we're talking about ends up not working out because Nurchio doesn't make Hydralisk, because they're not Mutalisks, man. They're just not.
It's off of Forge Expand, by the way, too.
Yeah,
not a Gateway Expand.
Yeah, Forge Expand. And then from there, he drops his Robo. In the game versus Nurchio, he didn't go double Robo Colossus, but that's what he likes to do. He likes to go double Robo Colossus out of the Phoenix, and then that's how he transfers into a Phoenix Colossus Death Ball, which is the good Protoss army. So that's Oz's build, but I think what's cool about the Nurchio game is that he decides to go Mutas anyway, and we get to see, you know, the lots of Phoenix versus, you know, the Muta Corruptor.
30 Phoenix shooting at one Corruptor and it still doesn't die. Just like at one point in time, the Phoenix were like moving backwards, so the arcs of light coming out of them were so stacked, it was like one beam. Kind of like almost like that charged up Void Ray from the StarCraft episode. It was just like this one giant Phoenix beam just attacking the Corruptor and doing 0 damage to it.
It definitely looked cool. Like, Cal, what do you think about you know, the Micro versus the Phoenix Corruptor? Because I have a really hard time. Because they just put the Corruptors in front, and then the Mutalisks come do damage to other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's a lot harder for the Protoss to micro, because it's a lot of like shift queuing for the Protoss and a lot of like just like aim moving for the Zerg, and just like it's for the Zerg it's more about how you engage it. For Protoss it's more about like what your units are attacking.
I feel like as Protoss too, you have to focus like on your Phoenix the whole time, like because Mutalisk Corruptor can turn on a dime. So say that the Muta Corruptor ball is retreating away from your Mass Phoenix. Okay, the Zerg just clicks to their base, and then they go into macro. Well, you as the Phoenix player, you always worry, are they gonna turn around at some point? So you're still constantly like right-clicking, chase. Oh, turn on a dime, you know. But you go back to your base to macro as the Phoenix player, and suddenly they turn, and you lose 5 Phoenix to kill.
Right.
You know.
That's where the shift queuing Cal was talking about comes in. Like, because I don't think the macro's that hard at that point, because you basically at that point it's not how much you're warping in, it's more so, you know, you're making Phoenix, which you don't need to be looking to do, or you're making out of your Robo. And if you're warping in, usually you're warping in
near your army.
Right under Mutas.
Something that Oz did that was really cool that I wish more players would do more when they come up against Phoenix, when they go up against Muta Corruptor, is he had 3 Archons, not like a ton of Archons, just 3, and he would put them with his Phoenix, so as the Phoenix were engaging, and he's dancing with the Phoenix. If the Zerg can't just A-move and they can't just stack the Corruptors, because obviously they have less Muta than they would like, and the 3 Archons, if they ever stop over the 3 Archons, the Archons just like, pow, and there goes 3 or 4 Muta.
Yeah, it's
What
very
I
good.
saw
I thought that was a really nice move by him.
It's definitely better than Storm. Like, I don't like the idea of Storm versus Mutalisk. I mean, especially to ever kill Mutalisk, because you're never really going to kill Mutalisk with Storm, because they're just going to run away, you know? So, you know, you get the Archons, then you get the Phoenix. That's really all you need. I think once the game gets there, you're in a pretty good spot. I think it's getting there. That's the problem.
The only time I really see Protoss go Storm in the first place is kind of like, oh shit, I've got a Twilight, I've got a Templar Archives, I only have, you know, one Stargate and I don't have time to add more Stargates, or I've got no Stargate, so
I
I'm
never
hope that Storm's enough.
Yeah, I never see Protoss just go Storm for Mutas. What it is
No.
like they have Storm already, and that's usually like a late game Muta switch, and they have it, and that usually becomes very base tradey. You know, that's when you get that kind of game.
Yeah.
Can I put enough cannons at one base to defend against the base trade with a couple of Storms while my Stalker Archon Deathball tries to kill them?
Oh yeah, and you have to be very good about knowing like the right move there, because sometimes the right move is to defend, and sometimes it is the base trade, and how many units to leave at home. You know, like a lot of times I like to put Archons by my cannons at one of my bases. You know, it keeps it really safe. Things like that, but making sure your army can't die. It's very delicate. That point.
Fields, do you want to like pull up that video?
Certainly
the
can.
VOD that we had. Because like I think going back to what the micro of like the Phoenix Void Ray versus Corruptor Mutalisk. That video really shows you a lot about like how you have to micro it, at least as a Zerg player, and or it shows you what you shouldn't be doing. To be honest.
I'm not sure I like the. Sorry to cross your break. I'm not sure I like the Void Ray versus the Corruptor Muta, because the Corruptor Muta, as Bright said, can just turn on a dime and it can really outmaneuver you if you're trying to always try to stick by those Void Rays to counter the Corruptors. I feel like the Archons, because A, they don't have enough Mutas to just one-shot the Archons anymore, and having the Archons as that anchor, they move a little bit faster. And I think, especially for Newkirk Precinct, it kind of just meshed a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
That was just my thoughts.
The thing with that is, it's like, yeah, the Void Ray Phoenix, if you're attacking, I feel like it is the wrong answer to the Mutacorruptor ball. But if you're defending, it's much easier because you have cannons, you have photon overcharge, and you can charge your Void Rays. Whereas if you're attacking, if they bait out the charge, which Nurture actually did a good job of baiting out the charge and then running away before Oz picked off too many Corruptors. But for defending, it works for that purpose. Because it's pretty early in the game still, you don't necessarily, like, he didn't even have his, you know, Templar Archives yet by that point. And so as long as you can charge your Void Rays to stop them from hitting your base, it's fine. But if you're chasing them down, you're going to have to burn that charge at some point, and it's probably not going to be available when they do decide to finally fight you. So,
speaking about that, I think we're going to, as Protosses keep doing this, we're going to start stepping into like an era where Protosses only activate half or a third of their Void Rays until like they know their opponent's really committing, or they can like, you know, kill off a significant portion before they do that, you know?
Oh, that's such a good idea. God. That's like Terran with Stim.
well,
Remember when Terrans used to Stim their whole army every time? There was an era where that happened.
you think that Protoss might start doing it, but how many Terrans do you see that actually unload a medevac before dropping, stim their Marines so it uses up enough energy where it can't get feedback one shot, and then load back up and do it? Because that's something that it's been talked about for 2 years now, and Terrans still like barely ever do that.
Actually,
This
I
is a
think
lot less micro-intensive, though, to just,
Yeah.
you know, like, box a third of them, or
I think
whatever
you definitely need to do that, because if they get in there, force the charge, run away, Void Rays are really good, but when they don't have their E,
they become significantly
become
weaker.
way bad, yeah. Especially the Mutalisk and Corruptors.
Mutacorruptor will just tear them apart because
Yeah.
the yes just so much higher.
I actually haven't seen the actual stats on charged voids versus uncharged. I need to get into the unit tester and just do like charged voids versus
It's something
units.
like 3 times as
Yeah.
amount.
3
Yeah.
times.
It's like they do 6 damage and then they do 12 damage, and then if you have the charge, they do 18 or something versus armor.
All you need to do is watch the StarCrafts video, and that will give you an accurate depiction.
So I guess it's like double, but it
And then
feels
they
more
fire
than
on
double.
the.
That's why I kind of like cry a little bit inside whenever I'm going like mass void ray and they decide to make corruptors, because it's like I have this unit that like does 3 is like 3 times more effective versus what you're making. So why are you making it? This is why like the queen is kind of like the best counter to the void ray.
Queen should be armored. But whatever.
Is it not?
No,
No.
they're nothing.
If
They're
they
just
did,
queens.
Oh, queen.
Protoss would just like destroy them.
Imagine if they were light, Phoenix harass them at the beginning of the game.
I think they're just biological and
Yeah,
psionic.
they're
they're
nothing,
just
yeah.
nothing.
Okay. I think we talked that build through good enough. Yeah?
Yeah.
Everybody agree?
Sure, I mean,
Okay.
I was just one with Phoenix with awesome micro.
Do you want to move on to Rain then from yesterday?
And Primal, you want to talk about? It's this morning, right? Those games.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one.
Sure, I'll talk a little bit.
Primal's a huge Rain fan, so
Yeah, he's the best, man. No arguments. But okay, so Rain was doing his pretty standard Phoenix into Colossus into third base builds. He didn't do any Void Ray Colossus builds, which I was surprised at because that's something he used to do a lot. So I figured, we saw him play 5 games. He'd do it once. He didn't do it. But he does a Gateway Expand. He gets the Mothership core before the Nexus. And then he gets his Nexus. He gets his Stargate before he gets anything else. Like, he gets it right after that Nexus starts. Then he gets 2 Gateways a Sentry. And so it's really early Phoenixes. When he does that, that's his macro build. But I don't know. Is anyone here like doing shit like that anymore? Like, cause I know I've been doing that forever, and then I like kind of stopped for the last month. But Rain still makes it work.
I used to do like the pressure that he does, which isn't the macro build, like the Zealot Phoenix pressure, which
The one he
I
did
think,
on
twice.
Whirlwind, right?
Yeah, he did it twice.
He did it twice.
Yeah,
Okay.
one game it shouldn't have worked, but it still worked. Like he hit 6 Zealots at a pylon. He waited until he warped in like 2, and then he walked in and
That was the
he
game
had like
Janssen,
no
right?
roaches. Yeah. He was like way behind that game too, and that attack like brought him up to he wins.
Yeah, he basically won with that Zell attack, and then he did it on Whirlwind, and I didn't think that was going to work either. He had like 3 queens, and he was making Zergling so quick. But it still worked. He knew to wait until he had enough like a critical mass to go. But I like that build. I like the macro version better because I feel like it's hard to get those pressures going with the Zealots, especially if it's Phoenix Zealot.
Yeah, I agree completely. It's so hard to get that pylon down and
Yeah, and not
we
to
get
mention
do it.
it's relying on the Zerg making a mistake while you're pressuring, because to be honest, that pressure's not hard to hold if the Zerg has spores and a Roach Warren. But it's kind of like hoping that they don't scout it, they don't like find the pylon on top of, they don't find out that they need to make roaches before you get there.
Yeah,
To be
actually-
fair, a lot of Protoss builds are like that, though. A lot of
Yeah.
like, all things.
That's true. Very true.
That's fair.
But most of them like don't rely on one Zergling, just not. I guess a lot of them do actually. So
A lot
never
of
mind.
the Zerg players aren't making roaches though against it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
noticed,
yeah.
like in GSL and in NA Grandmaster Master League, like they're not really making the early roaches to defend against it. At least I'm noticing.
Unless they're
Yeah,
going
I
for
don't
plus, they don't make a lot of early roaches. And
I don't think you
kill
can-
quite a few.
How many gateways is it?
It's
3.
3.
Yeah, I
He
don't
never
think you need
sends the
roaches
first
to do
3
it.
zealots until he has 6.
Mhm.
He waits for 6.
Well, when he does the pressure though, he gets the Stargate after the 3 gates, so it's a later Stargate.
It's like a +1 zealot Phoenix.
Well, it's not
Better.
+1.
So he doesn't go straight for the Stargate?
No, in his
What
pressure
does he do with
build,
this extra gate? Extra gas.
he doesn't really have extra gas because
Mhm.
he puts 2 in gas.
Okay.
So he gets 2 gas geysers at 15. He puts 2 in gas. He does this for both builds though.
Mhm.
But he gets sentries, so it works out fine. You don't have to get as early of a Stargate.
Okay.
But I don't know. I used to do the pressure build literally like every game, and then transition into Colossus. But I had a lot of hard times with it. He made it look really strong though.
Well, you can take your third behind that pressure too, which he did one of the games. The other game, it just kind of ended up killing the Zerg. Or I guess maybe still did take a third on Yunsu.
He didn't take a third until after he had
Yeah.
+1 a robo going, and even a robotics bay on the whatchamacallit game, the whirlwind game.
Yeah.
That third wasn't as early.
Mhm.
Whirlwind's also harder to take a third on though than a lot of other maps.
Well, I think when you do this